My name is Alex. I work at a small IT company. Don't lie. Trying to get through this with such an obvious lie, don't you have any sense as an adult? I skipped an executive meeting to help a college student. The next day, I was called to the CEO's office, and even though I honestly told the truth, he dismissed it as a lie and didn't listen to me at all. Sure, it sounded unrealistic, but he didn't have to assume I was lying from the beginning. You missed an important meeting, so you're fired. No matter how much I tried to explain, he wouldn't believe me, and eventually, I was told I was fired. I just helped someone, but my professional life was over. While I was overwhelmed by despair, John, the executive VP, burst into the CEO's office with a worried look. I'm a young department manager at this company. Since I was a kid, I was good at school and excelled in my studies, so I went straight to an elite college. I enjoyed my college life moderately and did the necessary minimum studying. I only had a few friends in college and didn't join any clubs or sports activities. I never had a girlfriend. While watching other students having a blast, I found more joy in studying and researching, so I focused on them. I recognized that I've always been a bit of a loner. Sure, I was good at studying and often praised for my abilities, but my personality was dark. I graduated at the top of my class and joined my current company. It's a small IT company. Because of my prestigious degree, I was hired under special conditions. Even here, I found more joy and fulfillment in work than in my personal life, so I dedicated myself to my job. Before I knew it, I had become an executive at a remarkably young age. But my personality remained dark as ever. Why am I so gloomy? One day, I was pondering this while riding on the train. I think I was a brighter child in elementary school. During lunch break, I would run around the playground with friends and visit their houses after school. I enthusiastically participated in sports days and other school activities, and I was more vibrant than I am now. I was often chosen as a leader for activities just because I was good at studying. Even then, I took it seriously and didn't shy away from the responsibility. Initially, I reluctantly accepted the leadership roles because I was nominated, but I ended up enjoying them. However, in middle and high school, my competitiveness escalated, and I studied with the determination to always be number one in tests. As this became the norm, getting perfect scores became my goal. I didn't want to lose. Not to others, but to the goals I set for myself. That's how I started prioritizing studying over socializing. During breaks, if I had time to chat, I'd rather study. If I had time to watch TV at home, I'd rather study. As a result, I gradually stopped communicating with people, and a dark personality took root. Being exceptionally good at studying, I received confessions from girls. But I always thought studying was more important than dating, so I always turned them down. Eventually, rumors started spreading that I had a girlfriend from another school, or that I was seen walking with an older college student. I focused solely on excelling academically and got a job at an IT company. I chose a small IT company because I felt my influence would be relatively greater. In terms of impacting society, a big company might be better. But if I joined a big company, I would just be one among thousands. One among thousands is almost like a cog in a machine. Even if I got promoted to section chief, manager, or director, there would still be countless others with similar positions in the group company. Even if you think you're leading, you're just one of many cogs. Rather than that, I felt it was more fulfilling to join a small to mid-sized company and work with the mindset of driving the company forward myself. That's why I joined my current company. I chose an IT company simply because I was good with numbers. I found immense joy in mastering math, which naturally made me strong with numbers. That's why I got a job at an IT company. It's rare for someone like me, who graduated from a prestigious college with top grades, to join a small or medium-sized company. I practically breezed through the entrance exams and interviews and received a job offer. After joining, I rose through the ranks at an unprecedented speed. Some colleagues respect me, but the majority are indifferent. I'm used to indifference. Because I was known for my gloomy personality. A dark personality doesn't get the spotlight. So, I was always in the corner of the classroom, studying diligently. I'm used to it. However, the problem is those who resent me. Older subordinates are especially prominent in this. They act extremely polite in front of me but complain behind my back. They call me a robot, saying I'm cold and unloving. Since I'm good at my job, they can't criticize my work. So, they attack my personality, which is a vague area. Our CEO is Mr. Smith, and the VP is his relative, Michael Smith. Michael's son, James Smith, is the head of HR. James is a few years older than me, and he's quite troublesome. He's someone who takes great pride in his meteoric rise through the ranks, even though it was clearly due to nepotism. He boasts about how unprecedented it was for someone so young to become a department head. But I broke his record by 2 years, making things difficult. At every opportunity, he makes snide remarks like, "Alex, the head of system development, thinks he's so great." I don't care about his sarcasm. However, using his position as head of HR to meddle in performance evaluations, and withholding important communications from me to hinder my work is unacceptable. After all, I'm a workaholic. Work is my top priority. I can't tolerate anyone who interferes with my work, which is my reason for living. So, I calmly tell him, acting childishly only degrades your own dignity, or, do you realize that your actions harm the entire company? This makes James turn even redder and shout at me more. It's bothersome, so I ignore it after making my point. I just need to say my piece, and that's enough for me. With all this, I arrive at the station near the company. I get off the train. There's an executive meeting today. I want to be seated at least 10 minutes early to read through the materials. I head to the company by my usual route. Technically, I should transfer at this station and get off at the next stop, which is closer to the company. But I prefer to walk the last stretch instead of taking the train. It helps with my lack of exercise, and brisk walking in the morning and evening air feels good. I walk down the sidewalk. I take a side street. Taking the side street is actually faster. Then, I heard the screech of brakes. I turned around. I saw a bicycle colliding with a woman. The young man riding the bicycle quickly got up, but his leg was injured. The other woman remained on the ground, unmoving. I rushed over to her. She looked to be around 20 years old. She had long pigtails and very long bangs. They were so long that they covered her face. She wore round glasses, almost as big as the palm of a hand. But the glasses had been knocked off by the impact. I called out to her. Thinking she might have hit her head, I decided not to move her and just spoke to her. The woman soon let out an "ah." Behind me, the man on the bicycle sighed in relief, saying, "Thank goodness." The woman blinked a few times. I could see her eyelashes fluttering through her long bangs. I asked, "Are you okay?" She nodded yes. "I believe my body is functioning normally," she said, with a slight foreign accent. She tried to stand up but seemed very nearsighted and couldn't move without her glasses. I suggested, "You on the bike, you should go to the hospital. I'll call the police first. And you with the glasses, stay here. You should also go to the hospital. But we'll wait for the police first." A few minutes later, a police officer arrived. It was probably a police officer from a nearby police station. We talked with the officer, me, the man on the bike, and the woman with the glasses. Soon, a police car arrived. We were taken to the nearest police station for questioning. Before that, I asked if I could call my company. There was an executive meeting today. It would start in about 15 minutes. After a few rings, Aaron, one of James's followers, answered. He was also one of my colleagues. I knew he didn't think well of me and often complained about me to James. I thought it was annoying that he answered and said, "Is there anyone else around? There must be someone else." After all, it was just 15 minutes before the workday started. But Aaron said, "No one else is here. What do you need?" "I'll pass the message along." Reluctantly, I said, "I had an unavoidable accident and am now going to the police station. I'm just accompanying others, so don't worry. However, I might be late or miss the executive meeting. Please convey this before the meeting starts." That's all. I conveyed the message. Not wanting to keep the police waiting, I hung up the phone. Then I accompanied them to the police station. It took an incredibly long time. I was released around 11 a.m. Right after leaving the police station, I decided to take the young man and the woman to the hospital as a precaution. The executive meeting was already over. So, I decided it was a good time to use some of my vacation days and take the rest of the day off. More importantly, it didn't seem right to leave these injured people to go to the hospital alone. I called the company and took the day off until the evening using my paid leave. The young man on the bike, who only had scrapes and no serious injuries, was heading in the opposite direction, so I saw him off in a taxi. The woman with the glasses got into the taxi with me. She was quite helpless without her glasses. "Thank you for helping me. My name is Rachel. I'm Alex." "Alex. How do you spell that? And your last name is?" I thought about typing it on my phone to show her. However, I hesitated, thinking it would be hard for her to see without her glasses. So, I considered giving her my business card. But then, I thought it might seem like I was demanding gratitude. While I was considering what to do. "Don't you have a business card? Here's my card." "Oh, you can throw it away after checking the spelling." Rachel held the card happily. "Please let me keep it. I'm a student, so I don't have business cards." I thought she had an unusual aura. But her accent suggested she might have grown up in another country in a different culture. Since I consider myself quirky too, meeting someone a bit offbeat doesn't bother me. I waited at the hospital while she got examined. She said she lived alone and her parents were abroad. Without me, she wouldn't be able to get home without her glasses. Thinking that, I reluctantly stayed with her. When I asked if she wanted a sandwich or a bread for lunch, she said both, so I got her both. I thought it was an unbalanced meal, so I added a salad and milk, and she ate it all up. I ate a vegetable sandwich beside her. Her test results came out in the evening. Since there were no issues, I made sure she got into a taxi. She didn't have any money, so I paid. I told her not to worry about paying me back and saw her off. Then I returned to the office. By the time I got back, it was already 5 p.m. The company's regular hours ended at 6 p.m., so there was less than an hour left. I decided to report my tardiness for the day, so I headed to the HR department. I had to report to James. I didn't like him, but it was his responsibility, so I had no choice. "James, I apologize for missing the executive meeting today." I said it formally. Then James said something surprising. "Honestly. Who do you think you are, skipping the meeting without notice?" "What?" I widened my eyes. "Skipping without notice?" I immediately realized what happened. Either Aaron didn't report it on purpose or he was conspiring with James. I had anticipated this, but I could only blame myself for not taking more precautions. I contacted Aaron in our department 15 minutes before work started. I didn't hear anything about it. Then let's bring Aaron here. Don't bother calling Aaron over for such nonsense. This reaction confirmed that James was in on it with Aaron. I made my decision. It's not trivial. Compared to his many breaks, this is minor. I'll call him right away. "Hey, wait." I immediately called for Aaron. "What is it?" He responded to me with a haughty attitude. Even though I outranked him, he still acted like we were just peers. "I'm busy, so make it quick." "Oh, James, good to see you. Thanks for the treat the other day. Aaron, I called you at 8:45 this morning to report my tardiness, right?" "Huh? What are you talking about?" There it was. I sighed at his blatantly malicious response. "See, Alex. This proves you're lying. I'll report this up. You skipped the executive meeting without permission, after all. Expect to face consequences." At this point, there was nothing I could do. I gave up on them and got back to work. Checking the phone records would be quick, so I thought about doing that myself, but today was a no overtime day. On this once-a-month day, the office systems shut down at 6 p.m. I had no choice but to go home. The next day, I was in the CEO's office. "You know why you've been called in today, right?" Mr. Smith usually had a gentle demeanor towards me. He loved the prestige of having a top graduate from a famous college, and a young department head as his ace. But today, he looked furious. "Is this about being late yesterday?" "Yes." Why didn't you report it? I called at 8:45. Should we analyze the data? Enough with the excuses. There's no record of anyone receiving your call. That's the proof. I glanced at James, who had joined us. Would analyzing the data be a problem for you, James? James was at a loss for words. Then he looked away. Don't go falsely accusing Aaron. If you analyze the data and he's innocent, what will you do then? That's defamation. You're falsely accusing me right now. Why is it okay for you to accuse me but not Aaron? I remained calm. James became more agitated. Shut up. Enough with the backtalk. Calm down, James. Alex, it's an undeniable fact that you skipped the meeting without notice. Do you acknowledge that? Except for the part about being without notice, yes. I missed the meeting. All right, then let's hear your reason. I already mentioned this to Aaron, but after getting off the train, I saw an accident between a cyclist and a pedestrian. I was the only witness. So I accompanied the police and answered their questions. Which do you think is more important, your job or others? Michael and James attacked me as if they had caught me in a serious wrongdoing. Was the person you helped a beautiful woman or something? The pedestrian was a woman. Whether she was beautiful or not is subjective. Got it. You just followed that woman. What's more important to you, women or your job? We don't need people who neglect their job. What's more important to you? If there's an injured person in front of me, I prioritize them. I thought I did the right thing. If I were in an accident and passers-by ignored me, I would hate it. Treat others as you want to be treated. This is my policy and something I consider basic human decency. Let's fire this guy. He has no loyalty to the company. I heard rumors that he's trying to leak company data, Mr. Smith. I thought this was definitely a fabrication by Michael. Are they really trying this hard to kick me out? Have I been working hard for a company with people like this? I started feeling like all my efforts had been for nothing. I've heard that too. Mr. Smith, this guy is smart enough to forge phone records. He'll bring a fake record of a call at 8:45. You shouldn't trust anything he says. Mr. Smith had initially been saying, and other noises, but he seemed to be swayed by the constant accusations from the side. All right, you're fired for missing an important meeting. I was fired. Since I was now terminated, my access to all company systems and computers was revoked. They probably didn't want me to verify the phone records. Well, it didn't matter anymore. I decided to use my remaining paid leave. In effect, I had until tomorrow to come to the office. I was told to complete the handover and take my personal belongings today and tomorrow. Aaron would take over as head of system development. So, Alex, how do you feel now? Aaron asked me quietly. I kept a blank expression and continued the handover. Too upset to speak, huh? Ha ha ha. Stop wasting time, Aaron. We need to complete the handover today and tomorrow. Shut up. You're fired. I'm the department head now. Address me properly. I won't be calling your name ever again. I spent the day like that. The next morning, I was in the CEO's office for paperwork. I heard footsteps approaching from a distance. Then there was a loud knock on the CEO's office door. Who's making all that noise? It was John. Mr. Smith. Look at the news. Ha! Both Mr. Smith and I were puzzled, but he turned on the TV at John's insistence. On the screen was the woman with the long pigtails and glasses. She was introduced as Rachel Johnson, a genius programmer with an IQ of 200. I had heard of Rachel Johnson, a college student in the US with an IQ of 200. Rachel Johnson founded a company at 11, and now handled over 90% of our company's core systems. She was also known for never showing her face. Being a super genius, she didn't attend normal educational institutions. Thus, she had no classmates. She was now in college, having skipped several grades. I was stunned to see her on TV. The girl I helped was on the screen. They had to reschedule the press conference by a day. I apologize for any inconvenience. I had an accident. It wasn't serious. But my glasses got broken, so I had to wait for new ones. Glasses don't fix themselves once scratched, you know. She still had her extremely long bangs. She was wearing new glasses. Since Rachel had never appeared in public before, all the media outlets were focused on her. I met someone very kind. I'll keep his name confidential, but he works at a company called K. He's a department head named Mr. A. Thanks to him, even though my glasses were broken, I made it home safely. Anyway, let's get to the main topic. From that point on, the questions were general, about work, the company, and why she had decided to show herself this time. Listening to the press conference, Mr. Smith completely changed his attitude. Well, Alex, I believed in you. It seems you were really late because you were helping someone. Impressive. And you helped none other than Rachel Johnson, the CEO of our major client. Truly remarkable. Right, Alex? Aren't I no longer a department head? Of course, we'll forget about the firing. We owe a lot to Ms. Johnson, so you, as the company's representative, will continue to. I decline. I packed my things and left right then and there. Later, Rachel came to the company to thank me and repay the money. Upon learning that I had been fired, she announced that her company would cease all dealings with K Company. She also stated that they would no longer provide any systems. Rachel's reasoning was clear. A company that values meetings over helping people? I can't align with such values, so it's impossible for me to continue working with them. That's what she said. Rachel then asked for my address and came to visit me. I didn't expect her, so I answered the door in my loungewear. Excuse me. I'll go change. Please wait a moment. I begged for 3 minutes at the entrance, but she said, my attire is similar, so it's fine, and entered anyway. It's inappropriate for a woman to be alone in a man's apartment. Can we talk somewhere else? When I suggested this, she replied, then let's talk in the entranceway. So, Rachel and I sat facing each other on the hardwood floor of the entranceway. What is this? It's a strange scene, but whatever. It would be ruder to invite her further inside. Here, I'm returning the money from the other day. Rachel handed me an envelope of cash. It's okay, really. I tried to return it. But Rachel insisted, and after going back and forth 3 times, I finally accepted it. I heard you got fired. Yes. It seems you got into trouble because of me. Was it trouble? No, I think it was a good opportunity for me. I never realized how awful that company was. I don't want to work hard for such a terrible place anymore. It's not right to speak ill of someone else's workplace, but I feel the same way. Rachel agreed. Her outfit was mismatched again today, just like the other day. Well, I have to make sure I choose the right company next time. And I'll make sure my subordinates are more careful in selecting partners. We both have lessons to learn. We laughed together. By the way, Alex. Yes, Rachel? Are you an engineer? Yes. Are you good? I hesitated at this question. Am I supposed to say this myself? Well, I majored at a well-known college in the US, so I think I'm considered good here. I see. Then would you like to take the entrance exam for my company? Entrance exam? I was caught completely off guard. I learned that Rachel had come to the US for the final interview of this entrance exam. The final interview is next Sunday. So, Alex, you need to pass the 1st to 4th exams by then. Thus, I had to take the written and practical exams at a rapid pace. Although it had been a while since I took an exam, it wasn't too difficult for me. However, it was a top-tier company. The content was more challenging than any other entrance exam I had ever taken. In the final interview, Rachel and I talked about our favorite colors of marshmallows, and I eventually got accepted. I wondered if such an interview was sufficient. But they had already assessed my abilities in the previous exams and understood my character well enough. I officially became an employee of a top IT company. And then, Rachel and I were walking along the beach at night. She wanted to thank me for helping her, and I gratefully accepted. We had dinner in a private restaurant room and were now strolling along the shore. Hey, Alex, she said. Yes, Ms. Johnson? Teach me about the states. Teach me how to interact with people. Teach me about fun things. Suddenly, Rachel stopped and said this to me. I was taken aback. What do you mean? About the states? I've lived here a long time, but I don't think I know enough to teach someone. As for interacting with people, I'm not particularly good at it myself. Fun things, fun things. I fell silent. I didn't understand her intention. I want you to stay with me. That's all. With you, I can learn everything about the states, interact with people, and have fun. Is this a confession? In Rachel's way? Realizing this, I quickly shook my head. She mentioned she was a college student who skipped grades. Her age is probably in her teens. On the other hand, I was in my 30s. This is not acceptable. I took a deep breath. Ms. Johnson. Please just call me Rachel. It feels odd otherwise. Alright, Rachel. I'm a man in my 30s. You're still a teenager, right? Yes, physically. The standard is physical age, so you're a teenager. I see. That means we can't have a close relationship yet. Do you understand? Is being friends also not allowed? Friends are fine. All my friends are adults. In that case, it might be okay. Then, until I become an adult, you'll be my friend, right? Until you become an adult. I understood what she meant. When I become an adult, will you propose to me? She said with a smile. Propose? I was startled. Yes. By then, I'll make sure you like me enough to want to propose. Oh, this won't do. Rachel and I were destined to meet. That's how I felt. It was the first time in my life. My heart boiled over with such intense emotion. We remained friends for 5 years and then got married. Now, I am a father of 3. When Rachel took care of her appearance, she had a very beautiful face. While I'm not superficial and value inner qualities over looks. Knowing Rachel from the time she was seen as quirky or unique, makes me appreciate her even more now. Even though she was a genius, it wasn't pleasant for me to see her viewed through a strange filter. But I loved the old Rachel too. Both versions are adorable and both are Rachel. No matter what kind of Rachel she becomes in the future, I always want to be her biggest supporter. And the 3 children Rachel and I had. They are my treasures. Having them gave me more reasons to work hard. Life looks rosy now. I want to continue working hard to ensure that our family lives happily together.